everyone and welcome to the Grove. My name is Samurai Rev and today is another episode of Mob Mixer. In this series, I take two mobs from Minecraft and I mix them together into one humanoid character design. In this episode, we are going to start with Adelyn, who I accidentally lost the footage of and couldn't include last time. But I'm going to be showing her now, and to start, I will be talking about her name. Her name, Adelyn, means noble one, at least according to my Google searches. And that sort of came from how Brian's name means noble, so I just decided to go off of that. Otherwise, she wouldn't have had a name, and I would have just called her Nether Girl. But I like the final name, and I think it would be funny if at least some of the other characters would call her Addie. Whether it's to just annoy her or as an actual nickname, I think would be funny. In terms of personality, though, or just character in general, I actually asked my boyfriend for a design, because I wasn't sure where to even start with making some hybrid between a ghast or a blaze, ghast and a blaze. And so I just asked my boyfriend, and he came up with a design where you was this girl with flowing orange hair and a flowy white dress. So I decided to take those two design choices and incorporate them into her visual design. So that's how she ended up with her hair and how she ended up with her current dress design. I did change the dress to include the what is now gloves, but at one point were just sleeves, and to incorporate a difference between her top and her skirt dress area. I also asked my boyfriend what she is as a character, and he described her as an anti-hero, someone who has good intentions but doesn't want them to be known. I did mention the term tsundere, but he denied this as an accurate description, and so instead of being sort of hot-headed, she would mainly be calm and she would come off as sort of like a sign of disrespect if you misinterpreted her words, especially if it was on purpose as a joke. But it would sort of come from a place where she just doesn't exactly know how to do that in an effective way so that she means well, or how she can show kindness because of how she was influenced by Netherlord, who she's the apprentice of, because he has a practicality focused mindset, and you can learn more about that in the last episode. But because of how she was influenced by him, she is able to go through and be more cold to other people, despite how she was raised in a warm environment, physically warm. But she would also have sort of calculated yet secretive actions, sort of you will only know what I need you to know in order to do my plans. And so she would be very secretive in that way, but also very calculated in thinking through exactly what she would do. And that's sort of where it comes from, is that she's very secretive, and so she would learn over time to trust other people with details, to trust other people with her emotions, and so she'd be breaking from the obligatory trust she had in Netherlord, and how she learns to open up to people about her emotions, both the good and the bad. Her journey basically would be about trust, who she puts it in, and how she exemplifies it. And as you can see, I'm taking the palettes from the other character drawing that I did of her, where I had the fire charge, and now I'm putting it into this character design. So it was very nice to have oh, I already know where things are going, and so it's really easy to check. However, I will say, because I'm about to do it, I just didn't like the skirt at all. I just ended up changing basically the entire skirt. Right here, it looks like I'm only changing one part, but later on, you will definitely see, oh, I changed the entire thing. I just did not like it, and I ended up changing sort of the feet posing too, because it didn't look right either. So basically, other than one foot, I kind of changed her whole lower half, because it just did not look right to me. But moving back to her personality, Netherlord will be slightly more antagonistic in the way of manipulation. Another girl would literally just be acting out of love to the closest thing she has as a sibling in Brian. So hers would be, she has good intentions. She just doesn't exactly know how to do them in the right way. And so she has to grow in that area of her life. So she has a really good character arc, I guess. Or at least good character arc potential. And that's one of the reasons that I particularly like about her character. I like all of my characters that I've made so far for various different reasons, from Melissa, the bee-bat hybrid, to being very outgoing, to Phoebe being calm and motherly, to Ozzy with plaid and being like sort of like this angsty teen. I like all of the characters. Oh, and Brian being like very extroverted as well. This is, I think, where I just decide to... So there's me moving the foot. Yeah, so this is me moving the foot. I did try to tweak it as much as I could. I don't think it's the best foot that I could have done. I am much better with drawing, not by paths or on the computer, but by hand. I don't have a drawing tablet. I did at one point, but it's not the best drawing tablet, so I decided to stop using it. So I have to deal with the paths tool and drawing traditionally, which can work out great when I know what I'm doing. But the thing is, I don't know what I'm doing for just trying to move things around. So it's not the best foot, but I did the hands well. So I'm completely fine with it. And so, yeah. Time to move on to the next character. Explorer Nellie. I don't have a much on. I actually went to record this episode and I'm like, oh, I barely have enough notes on her. So I decided to go with the first thing, which was, what was going to be Nellie's name? Obviously, I chose Nellie, and I just looked up, what are some good adventurous explorer names? Somehow I found Nellie on one of the lists, and it means horn or sun ray. And I didn't realize this when I originally chose a name. I just like, oh, Nellie. Yeah, that seems about right, and moved on. But I think it fits the character, because, especially the sunray part, because while she's an explorer, I'd like to think that she just likes interacting with people and sort of showing them how they can blossom. So basically, she sees the light in other people and wants to draw that out. And that's sort of where she would be when she talks to Adelyn. So I think Nellie would totally make up tricks or just try to get Adelyn out of her shell. And I think it would be funny to see their interactions. Like, once I thought about, okay, what would a character that is a pig and a strider hybrid, which is what Nellie is, how would they interact with this Blazeghast hybrid? And I'm like, trickster. Would constantly be on the run because of Netherlord, but total trickster. Or just someone who is more lighthearted to sort of contrast with the apprentices in Netherlord. And I've decided to just go with it. So she would love to travel, but only out of necessity. She would just have random stashes of loot around, and she would just be able to take those caches and use them to her own benefit. So she would be an escape artist entirely. I don't know what else she would do. She'd just constantly be breaking into the fortress and breaking out of it just because she can, and just because she wants to see Adelyn like bloom, and she would just have huge big sister energy to Brian in the sense that she just cares about Brian so much. Maybe that's where Brian actually gets it from, because in contrast to Adelyn, he is a cinnamon roll, and so I think that'd probably be because of Nellie. So I think having her name be Sunray and having her name be Nellie just works out so well. And so that's how Nellie ended up sort of expanding on the initial design for just an explorer and a trickster, which you don't actually see much of the trickster side of personality other than maybe the wink. Because originally I was actually going to have her be in the same picture as Adelyn, but I ended up drawing them at 2 different pages, so I just ended up splitting them up into 2 different drawings and recording them separately. So that's why they're not in the same picture, but originally she was winking at Adelyn. So, how does being a strider and a pig, how do those connect into this character design? Well, one, you have this tail, which I actually wasn't paying attention. I don't know if it's on the strider, but it is on the pig. I know, because I checked. And so she also has a backpack, which is actually a reference to how they can wear saddles, both of them. And that's why I decided to use the saddle palette for the backpack. And then the hair is supposed to be those, like, it's supposed to be very straight and thin, which is why it's mainly flat on her head. It's supposed to be that, like, light cream color, which is why, in a moment, I will actually be choosing those colors. And right now, I'm also pointing out that, or at least coloring, the 3 fingers. So she doesn't have 5 fingers, she just has 4 fingers, 3 fingers, and a thumb, because I see that in a lot of hoofed creature designs for, like, hybrids. And so I decided to include in this, because both of the creatures have hooves, so I think I could get away with it. So that's why I did it. And she has black eyes, because both of them have black eyes. I tried a couple different colors for the ears, and I think I went with this. I know, technically, neither of them have tusks, but I decided to go with them having tusks, because why not? It looks more... I know it looks more orcish, but it also looks more pig-like because of the pigs that exist in the Nether, so I feel like it fits. And now you will see me just struggling to find a good, like, color scheme for the shirt in a moment. I forgot to add the shirt part, but I did not know whether I should do more light-skinned, should I go darker, I don't know, because I didn't want to just blend into her normal skin color, so it took me a while. Eventually I found something that was okay. And her skin color is actually a very dark color, dark saturated color from the pig itself. That sort of looked like the Ravager, and not the Ravager, sort of looked like the Strider. So I'm like, oh, this fits. So I kept it. And then her pants and her boots are from the lower legs of the Strider. So, because I thought it looked good. And then I just decided to choose one of the colors from the basalt and as the background. So, this is Nellie, the Pig Strider hybrid. And that will conclude this episode of Mod Mixer. To get notified of new videos, please subscribe and hit that notification bell down below. If you like Minecraft gaming content, I released a video of my new survival series called Agent of Lorena. If that interests you, use the link down in the description to go check that out. See you next time!